Good evening. This is Doc Severson for the TheoTrade report for Thursday, July 6th. Starting out tonight's report looking at the S&P 500, there's two concepts that I talk about all the time that are starting to show in action right now as we look at the different index charts. And we'll start off with the S&P here. And number one is that range expansion leads to range contraction. Now, I expect to see range contraction, and what that means is basically working into a range of some type, which can be either a sideways movement or a pullback, or just in general an expansion of the range that it trades within. And we're starting to see that, again, because of the fact that we have this extraordinarily linear trend coming off the bottom from all the way from 1800 over the last year and a half, straight up over 600 points in the S&P. Unprecedented that we would not expect to see some type of consolidation here. So that's kind of principle number one. Now, principle number two goes all the way over here to the smaller time frame, in this case, the daily chart, and that is that reversals start from the inside out. So you can see all through here that we have on the daily chart a series of higher highs and higher lows, right, all the way up here till mid-June. And what we've seen since that point has been lower highs and lower lows, okay? And so we actually lost the 50-day moving average today, which is not something that I watch. It's not something I care about, but it's something that a lot of other people care about. We're going to start to see people notice it. So when I say reversals start from the inside out, it's almost like how a human being contacts the flu. It's from one virus at a time, which eventually starts to propagate and spread. And this is exactly how reversals happen, because we'll start to see this at a lower time frame, like a daily chart or even something smaller than that. And then eventually what happens is it propagates over to the weekly chart. So we'll see that put in like a lower high and then a lower low. And then this is where more serious selling starts to come into play as the monthly chart actually starts to pull down. Not even a trend yet, just pulling down is serious enough to get most people's attention. Now, what you'll also see is if you kind of zoom out and look at this, you'll see that, wow, this is really just has hardly moved at all from the top. So we may be just getting started with this. Now, again, I'm not predicting Armageddon. I don't think that we're going to see something which is going to be probably much more than just setting up to the range. I suppose all I could hope for at this point is perhaps setting up a range down here at about 2,300. Now, if we were to look at this at some point in the future, if we were to see a move down to 2,300, we would probably say, oh, well, that looks very normal, right? That would look very normal to us looking at some point in the future, looking at a pullback, which is about 150 points or so. We would see something like that, like here, and say, well, that looks very normal. That looks very normal. All of these pullbacks along here look very normal. Even this Ebola pullback here in October of 2014 looks very normal. Now, these look a little bit more like a corrective pattern. Obviously, these look like they're a little bit more painful. But again, think about this, 150-point move lower right now would hardly constitute a 10% move. So that's your standard correction down to 2,300. I think this would do it. This would at least reboot the market, would allow it to reset. Now, different charts are going to show different levels of sensitivity to this. So I'm looking at the S&P to begin with here, but as I look at the Russell, now the Russell's been doing a great job of doing absolutely nothing since the beginning of the year. But if we zoom in on this, again, the two concepts that we're looking at is range expansion moves to range contraction, which the Russell has already started to do. But reversals start from the inside out. Notice here that the Russell, if it breaks this box, which is bounded about 1430 to the upside and about just below 1400 to the downside, if it actually prints a lower low below this, again, right there at that 50-day moving average, then it too is going to start the journey to the downside as well too. So we could start to see the Russell move, and the Russell oftentimes will lead markets lower. But what has already started to lead markets lower is, in this case, the Nasdaq. And it's not just the Nasdaq, it's also those great big stocks that we follow. Some people call them the FANG. We prefer to look at the Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, and these have already started to come down a little bit. But we'll focus on the NQ for right now because the NQ is actually showing us slightly better signals. Again, range expansion leads to range contraction. That's already started. We can actually see a weekly downtrend in play now. Lower highs, lower lows. So the Nasdaq has already come down about 6%, so we can hope for just a little bit more here because this one has really just left the station quite long ago. So this has been our strongest index to the upside. But as we're seeing here, that there is a price to pay for this linearity. So we would expect to see the next type of price action in here. More range bound, more consolidation. This may take a couple of months to go through this. And then we'll know that it's something more than that if we actually start to see a lower high setting up on the monthly chart. That could be preceding a much stronger than just a typical 10% correction. So regardless of whether you're a bull or you're a bear, either way, I think this is good stuff. And this is good stuff for the bulls because you want the market to reset, to pause, to kind of reestablish itself, to set up the next base. Because right now, honestly, nobody's buying the highs. The only way that this market is going higher is if it goes back first, stokes up too much negativity, that all gets squeezed out to the upside. But that mode of movement is unsustainable. You can't just continue to squeeze yourself higher. Eventually, you run out of bears, and this is what we're starting to see now. Hey folks, before you go, I've got a special offer I want to bring your attention to. This is our 2-day live TheoTrade Traders Retreat, which is going to be in Scottsdale, Arizona, with Don Kaufman, myself, Doc Severson, Jeff Bierman, and Tony Rago. Now, this is going to be Thursday and Friday, Saturday, September 7th, 8th, and 9th in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I know that that seems like it's a long way away, but it's really right around the corner. So this is going to be our major event for the year. And as you can see, the price for this is $1,997. Now, think about what this includes just for a second here. So it's not only the live events on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday that we have out there at this event, but this also includes 1 full year of our live mentorship. So Total Theo, which is our 12-month mentorship, is included for that, all for the price of $19.97. Now, if you don't know what Total Theo is or what that's all about, first of all, there's a live element to it. We're basically live about 6 hours a day through video and audio in the chat room itself, as well as you can see all the archives that we have for every month that we've done this, but also the classes that we do. So we can look at some of the classes that we have done live for our students. So in other words, if you want to know about iron condors or high probability in-out spreads or weekly options or calendar spreads or fractal energy trading or trading a small account or doing weekly diagonal spreads, pairs trading, trading futures contracts, using fibs in your trading, trading tetrapod spreads, you name it, we have done a class in it over the last couple of years. These will all be available to you as soon as you sign up for this class. Now, the workshop itself features our favorite material and the material that's most requested by our students, such as long and short volatility strategies, neutral options trading strategies, including pairs, calendars, straddles, strangles, how to set it up in a workable portfolio, how to position size, how to work on your mindset, and how to add technical analysis to increase the probabilities of your trading, how to build a trading plan, and a proven formula for day trading as well too. You name it, just about every aspect of trading, whether it's stocks, options, futures, building a portfolio, being able to day trade, being able to trade for a living is something that we're going to be talking about during this 2-day class. And of course, it does come with the Total Theo 12-month membership. And to give you an idea what the event schedule is like, first of all, on Thursday night, the 7th, we're going to be having a happy hour with you guys. So meeting everybody in person, you're going to get a chance to, rub elbows with not only the instructors out there, but other expert traders that are part of our live trading room every single day. And on Friday and Saturday, we're going to be doing, of course, morning session, afternoon session, and breakfast is served for those staying in the hotel. You can see the conference room we're going to be doing this at. One thing I'd like to point out to you is if you've been through seminars like this before, sometimes we wedge everybody into these things, and it's so uncomfortable. By the end of 2 days, you're ready to go. We're going to have nice chairs for you guys, so we're going to make you very, very comfortable. It's going to be an excellent facility. You can see how beautiful this place is, and you're going to want to stay around for maybe a couple of days after that, maybe extend your stay into the weekend. This is such a nice place. So full day Friday, full day Saturday, rubbing elbows with us, talking to us about questions that you have for trading as well. Full breakfast, lunch, cocktail party, discount, TheoTrade group room rate, Wi-Fi resort fee is going to be waived for those staying at the hotel, discount on spa services. You can go play golf out there. You know, this is going to be a great event. It's going to be a high-class event, and it's going to be absolutely packed with information. The ability to talk to our instructors out there and really walk away with a full trading plan and give you confidence to be able to hit this market running when it starts again in the most important part of the year, which is the beginning of the fourth quarter here as we wrap up 2017. So hope to see you out there.